Hi, we're Carol Dust, and these are the top 5 moments that changed the way that we thought about music.
Number 5, GarageBand.
I was about 14, I think, when I got GarageBand for the first time. It was kind of confusing as well. Like, first time ever being on a computer and trying to make a sound come through, it took me like 2 days. But man, the first time you got a little song going in that thing.
Yeah. What was the first kind of music you were making?
I was playing acoustic guitar and recording myself. I'm glad none of those songs are out there to be shared, but
yeah,
the end result.
Yeah, for me, it was trying to make dubstep and grime beats. Surprisingly big grime scene at my grammar school that I went to. So yeah, it was like trying to figure out how to program drums and like make dirty bass lines. Great.
I just remember first loading it up and dragging loops into the project and just looping stuff for a while and thinking I'd made a song. Pre-recorded loops.
Yeah, that counts.
And then finally upgrading to Logic one day was a big moment.
Yeah.
Proud of you, man.
Thanks.
That's a big step for humanity. Number 4, Corsica Studios in London. I first went there, I just moved to London to go to university. I went there when I was about 21 years old to a nightclub night called Jaded that started at 5 a.m. and went until 4 p.m. the next day. And it was the first time I'd really experienced like techno after hours. And just being in that environment, there were never like a huge number of people there. It was always like 25 people. But yeah, it was a very inspiring moment, I think, also for like figuring out the type of music I was interested in.
Yeah, Jaded was the first time I went as well. Met some people that had been out since like Thursday night, I think, and it was, yeah, so good. And then a couple of years later, Hyperdub were running the Zero nights there, and it was like the best sounding club night I've ever been to.
Number 3, first gigs.
My first show was Claxons when I was 13 years old. And I remember being very nervous beforehand. I thought it might get rowdy, and it did get rowdy, but it was amazing. I remember like being like drenched in sweat head to toe, having just danced for like an hour and a half. And I was so excited. My ears were ringing. It was so loud and so involving, and I was like, fuck man, this is what I want to do.
My first gig was seeing Foals at what was the HMV Institute in Birmingham. Yeah, and I remember I felt like wired afterwards. It was so like, I couldn't really sleep that night. Just so exciting to see. There's also something about seeing the production. I couldn't really like name what any of that was then, but just seeing this whole like stage setup and the way that everyone interacts with each other, and Yanis doing like crowd surfing. Pretty rock and roll.
Yeah, I think Foles was my second ever gig, but my first was We Are Scientists in the O2 Academy in Oxford, and it was the first mosh pit I'd ever been in, which was amazing. And then I just went to gigs for moshes after that, really, for a while.
Number 2, moving to Berlin 8 years ago now, straight out of university. Just started getting a few shows as Carol Dust, but moving here kind of opened up a whole new idea of what it was like to actually live a life of making music. And the amount of free space there is here, the amount of people doing interesting things, often things that don't necessarily make financial sense, but are therefore all the more interesting. And I also feel like, in general, that might be something that we're losing a little bit of more and more. That was incredibly inspiring to be around.
Yeah, it's definitely a sense of like freedom, isn't there? Yeah. Also great falafel.
I moved here about 5 years ago, and didn't intend to necessarily move here, but just came out here on a one-way flight and then ended up staying for a while. And I've grown to love the city. Berlin's really great. I'd recommend anyone to visit at least.
Number 1, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That was great.
I remember watching The Good, the Bad and the Ugly in summer holidays when I was about 15. And I did the 3 Sergio Leone westerns in a row, so it was the last one. And the first 2 were amazing, but I think what we're talking about specifically is Ennio Morricone's soundtrack and how influential, I guess, some of that was on us. also how much it sort of like expanded the world of that movie, like music as world building, I guess.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, because it feels like loads of those sounds frame and also come out of the landscape in a great way.
Yeah, and then also how it was rehashed with like a lot of Tarantino films, and I feel like has spawned sort of a genre of its own in a sense. This kind of Western guitar sound that's quite evocative of a particular atmosphere and feeling that's very noticeable, even though it doesn't necessarily have a specific name.
Thank you very much for watching. We've been Carol Adus with our top 5 moments that changed the way we think about music. We've got a new album out. It's called An Echo of Love. It's streaming everywhere now. Go have a listen. Thank you very much.